Hey guys, thank you for joining me on this fun Friday. I just recently got to watch Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker. And I've heard a lot of kind of mixed things about did it really do justice to the Star Wars franchise? Was it good? Was it not good? How did people really feel about how everything went? And I thought I'd throw my hat into the ring there. I've already done up a video on Star Wars once before, talking about how much I enjoy it, and since I was able to watch The Rise of Skywalker finally, I figured I would go ahead and put that out there as my fun. I know that Star Wars is a little bit divisive. Some people find it just way too nerdy, and there's this massive Star Wars universe that can be kind of overwhelming. You know, I find Star Wars fun. I don't get too far into all of it. I don't memorize the mythology. I don't memorize, all the different species and the different worlds, the different histories, the different trajectories that stories have taken. Um, I find some of the mythology interesting, but that's about the extent that I take it. Um, so this isn't from, a die-hard Star Wars fan. This is from someone who has a lot of fun with it. And, if you don't want to get into Star Wars because you're afraid it will go too deep, um, I would say, just if you find it something that you can kind of like, go ahead and enjoy it. If you don't like it, it's fine. It's a movie franchise at its core. So as fun as it can be, it's nothing all that serious. But that's not what this is about. This is about Star Wars Episode 9. And obviously, there will be spoilers. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you a quick spoiler-free take on uh, the the movie, and then if you don't want to get into any kind of spoilers, you haven't been able to watch it yet, I understand. Um, as I'm recording this, it's only been out for about 4 days, so out on Disney Plus, that is. So there are probably a lot of you who haven't been able to really get into it, and there are some huge spoilers. So I'm just gonna real quick give you kind of a should you see it if you are interested in Star Wars, should you not, and then I'll get into the other stuff. Um, I think you should see it. I don't know what everyone's talking about. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie. Um, I think it did a good job of honoring all that came before it. Um, there are a lot of ways that Star Wars Episode 9 reaches back into the other movies, the stories that have already been told. And I think it did a good job of that. I think it did a good job of tying up the Star Wars saga that we just kind of started with Rey and Finn and Poe. I think it did a really good job, and it answered some questions about Star Wars and the Force and mythology that some people kind of run with, and if you don't agree with that, then you might not enjoy it. But there's this whole kind of thought about the Force, and I think it answered that in what I imagine is a really helpful way. It ties the series up very nicely, and I enjoyed it. I mean, there were parts of it where I'm just like, almost crying because of things that are happening that were either very very moving or just very sad at moments. There were times where you were just like, yeah, oh my goodness, this is awesome. So I think especially for the more casual fans, I have no idea why it's getting the heat that it's been getting. For the more diehard fans, maybe you can explain why this isn't a good Star Wars movie to me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's about as far as I can go with spoilers. If you haven't been able to see it and you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and end the video now and try to watch it. I mean, it is an awesome movie. So, for those of you who are checking out from the spoilers, God bless you guys. See you again, hopefully tomorrow with my Saturday with Stanley video. But from here on out, there are going to be spoilers, so go ahead and Click check out now. I'm going to just wait a second or two. All right, I'm assuming if you are still with me that you don't care about the spoilers for Star Wars Episode 9. You want to hear a bit more about it. Oh my goodness. I'd gone ahead and read a review that had some of the spoilers in it, so I kind of knew a few things, and it didn't hurt the movie at all, actually. Rey is Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter. That was mind-blowing. Emperor Palpatine kind of being resurrected, but we already knew that Palpatine knew how to harvest the Force to give life and maintain life. So it shouldn't be all that confusing to say, oh, like, he did that. Rey showed some interesting Force powers that I don't see as like contradictory to the whole story. Shut out Force lightning, and whether it's evil or there is this part of Star Wars lore where you can shoot out Force lightning and still be good. There were questions, but she's still fighting against, truly being a Jedi and, anything within her that might not be truly as a Jedi. Everything with Kylo Ren. One of the parts that almost made me cry was when Leia used the Force and basically gave up her life into the Force to reach out to Kylo Ren one last time as her son. Calls him. It ends up Kylo Ren didn't think that he could return to his mom now that he killed his dad and embraced the dark side, and her calling out to him was like, oh wait, no, like she still loves me, she still cares about me even though I messed up. And then Rey stabs him, but Rey also then realizes, oh my goodness, like Leia just gave up her life to reach out to him, and Rey heals Kylo Ren through the Force, and I don't know how everyone feels about the whole like Finn. It's like falling in love with Rey. You don't really get kind of a wrap up of that thing, I get, but I also thought that it was interesting. Like it didn't have to be a final complete. They're getting married. They're not getting married. They're a couple. They're not a couple. Thing with them. I think that was part of the whole story. Was like their relationships are complex in the ways that they've come together, and who knows what all of it means. I think there was this thing about how bringing balance to the Force means that there's some evil and there's some good. You balance the evil and the good. I like what they did, honestly, because they kind of said, the way that people viewed the Jedi are wrong. They addressed that with Luke. The way that people viewed the Jedi, like you don't use the Force. The Force is just this thing that's there. It's not a tool for you to use. It's something for you to join with and to tap into. Addressing some of the ways the Jedi had strayed from what was true about the Jedi and the Force, and then the ways that that addresses the Sith and their issues. Like the only positives of the Sith are when they're correcting the Jedi where the Jedi have gone wrong, but the Sith are evil and there is no place for them in a world that is ultimately being made right, and you get the story of the good guys did ultimately triumph. And yet there's still this whole expanded world that you can explore after the Emperor's killed and Kylo Ren gives up his life to save Rey, and now you have the Jedi. And I thought it was perfect that at the end Rey takes Luke and Leia's lightsaber. Apparently Leia did go through Jedi training, which movies hadn't made clear yet. But Rey takes Luke and Leia's sabers, buries them on Tatooine near Luke's home that you saw in A New Hope, near the very beginning of the Star Wars saga. She returns to Luke's home, buries their lightsabers, gets asked who she is. She'd had this huge issue with not accepting her family name because she's a Palpatine, and she wasn't willing to accept that, and she gives her name as Rey again, and I was asked, Rey who? It had come up before. And she looks at this house, she thinks about the lightsabers, and then she says, I'm Rey Skywalker. She claims a different name for herself as, my identity is not with the Sith and the Empire, but my identity is with the Jedi, characterized by the Skywalker name. Skywalker ultimately brought balance to the Force, as was predicted, although it wasn't through Anakin, and it ultimately wasn't even through Luke, it was through an adopted daughter who became the symbol of the Jedi and defeated the Sith. I just thought it was great, and the callbacks, Chewie finally getting his medal, Lando getting the Falcon back, and Lando and Chewie being reunited. It was good. I loved it. I didn't see anything in the story that was like, I can't believe this kind of stuff. Like, I just thought it was really good. I had a lot of fun watching it. I know it says it's about 2.5 hours long. It didn't feel like 2.5 hours, honestly. The movie flew by. I thought it was really good. So if you are at all interested in Star Wars, know anything about the newer movies, please watch Episode 9. It's so good. Please tell other people that the movie's not as bad as the internet's saying, because I didn't think there was anything terrible about it at all. I thought it did a great job. So couldn't even get into all of the stuff of the movie in this video, but this is just a fun video, so did want to go through some of the spoilers that I found huge and impactful. So thank you guys for joining me. Doubt I'm going to go too much into Star Wars again for a good while. Gonna have to find new fun topics to bring up, but I enjoyed this, so thank you for joining me, guys. God bless you.